We are back for the 13th round of the GP4 Offline Championship 2017 season. We're here for the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps, the 11th time we've been here in Belgium at Spa, of course, the longest track on the GP4 OC calendar. 7 teams having won here over the past 10 seasons. We've got Red Bull, Mercedes, BMW, Ferrari, Force India, McLaren, Williams, a lot of different teams. So, and of course this being the penultimate European race of the season, with Italy the next round being the last one. Previous winners have included Jay McKenzie, the legitimate Bruno Junqueira, had Sam Thompson, James Willows, Yuri Marta, Will Neller, who's won here for the last 3 years. So let's see if he can make it 4 years in a row at Spa. Of course this track the longest on the calendar, 7.004 kilometers, 20 corners, 44 laps, and the lap record set back in 2009, obviously, by Joseph Willows with a 144.191, because those cars that year were OP. So that is that. So now we're going to take a look at what tyres we'll use for this race, which will be the super soft tyres. And the driver of the day from last time out was Evan Byrne, of course, and Will Neller winning the Hungarian Grand Prix, having taken advantage of Jay McKenzie taking out Joseph Willows and himself, of course. But anyway, here is the starting grid for the Belgian Grand Prix, and it is Joseph Willows, the championship leader, on pole position with Niklas Gaul alongside him in second. On the second row of the grid is the 2 Mercedes of Jay McKenzie and Will Neller, third and fourth. Third row is Armand Carr for Red Bull and Rick Yan for Force India in sixth position. On the fourth row of the grid we have Rilla Moyton for Williams, a good qualifying by him, and Florian Volker 8th for Ferrari. On the fifth row of the grid, 9th and 10th, we have Michael Mocha for Toro Rosso, and a very good qualifying by Paolino Tomaselli for Sauber. 6th row, 11th and 12th, Franco Lopez for Force India, and George Roque 12th for Haas. Roque, who is qualified no higher than 12th this season. 13th place is Turvi Nautunen, and 14th place is Joel Hutter for Renault and for Haas respectively. 15th and 16th positions on the grid are Evan Byrne and Niklas Zorbach, making it into Q2 for the first time. A good qualifying by the German, but can he finish is the big question. Felix Sonntag is 17th ahead of Franco Gamba for Toro Rosso in 18th, not the best qualifying from Franco Gamba's point of view. Julius Anderson 19th and Etienne Jones 20th. And on the final row of the grid we have Oliver Glazebrook and Roberto Gamba, the 2 McLarens who were very off the pace in qualifying, I have to say. But before we go to the grid, the GP4 OC news for this week is that the 2 Italians, Roberto Gamba, will remain at McLaren, and Paolino Tomaselli will remain at Sauber for the next season, which is a surprise to absolutely nobody. No, I think everyone could see this one coming, to be honest. But the weather for the race, it will be a sunny race, no chance of rain, which is rare at Spa. We usually have rain in, well, in most races we've had rain, I would say. But anyway, so we're going to the grid. 44 laps around one of the best circuits on the calendar. Joseph Willows on the front row, on pole position, as we now have 5 lights on. And we're underway for the Belgian Grand Prix. It looks like Willows has made a pretty good start ahead of Gal in second, who himself might get passed by 1 or 2 of the Mercedes heading into the Source hairpin for the first time. It looks like Niklas Gaul might actually take the lead from Willows, as there's a yellow flag at the Source, so something has already happened, and it's side by side between Willows and Gal heading up to El Rouge. And I think Willows is just about going to poke his head in front, and the answer is yes, he does. He keeps ahead of Niklas Gaul. There's cars off. Niklas Zorbach is off. Florian Volker is out. There's cars with damage. Sonntag has got damage. Zorbach is stuck, but has got no damage. There's a Toro Rosso that is out of this race, and Zorbach stuck on the wall there. It's been another disastrous start for Zorbach, but he's got away actually without any damage, so he can continue on. Willows has kept the lead from Gaul just, and now Gal's got the 2 Mercedes coming right behind him, as we're going to have a look at what happened at the start of the race. So Florian Volker started down in the lower reaches of the top 10. He'd made an alright start, and then heading up towards the first corner as they all come through, and yep, gets hit from behind. And the question is, who did he get hit behind from? And it was the Haas. It was the Haas of Roque, and Volker and Roque have come together a number of times, or have held each other up, i.e. Roque holding Volker up a number of times this season. Unfortunately, Roque just goes into the back of Volker there. A very unfortunate incident, and we're going to have a look at what happened from Franco Gamba's point of view as well, as he was heading towards La Source for the first time. So did he get hit? Yes, he did get hit, and he went into the Renault, and so it looks like it was Felix Sonntag, the one who had gone into the back of him, And Gamba had snuck through past him there, and yep, there was the contact, and Gamba, even with a slight bit of contact from behind, went into the Renault alongside him, and unfortunately that eliminated him from the race. Unfortunately for Zorbach, and he fortunately wasn't eliminated, but he's been held up severely, so unfortunately his bad luck continues. So far 5 races and he is yet to finish, but this is the 6th one, so 6 times lucky. I don't think anyone's ever said that before, but who knows. It might be the race for him as we look at what happened between Gal and Willows coming through Eau Rouge, and so close that they didn't make any contact there. I'm amazed they got away with I mean, it's scary going too wide through Eau Rouge anyway, but as we look at Nella, who was right behind Willows, he just couldn't get past, and then Mackenzie was there, so Mackenzie actually snuck through past Nella, and then he dared try and make it on the inside of both Gal and Willows there, but that was never going to work out. 3 into 1 corner just doesn't go, and fortunately Mackenzie thought better of it and did take it through there. But Mackenzie's all over the back of the Red Bull of Will Nella, and Mackenzie going to try and make it through into 2nd place. Here is he's on the inside, and he does make it, so he's through. And I think I briefly just saw Gal's fuel. I think Gal's got a heavy fuel, so it probably explains why he's not on the pace. So Mackenzie's through, and he'll go after Willows in front of him, maybe as revenge for what happened last time in Hungary. As you look through the rest of the field, Tomaselli's still in 10th position. Joel Hudson moved up a few positions. There's now Turner, Byrne, Glazebrook, Anderson, Roke with damage. Jones, I think, who didn't have any damage, I can see from his point of view. Now Nella trying to make it through past Gal. He's, oh, that was close. He's never going to make it through there. Now that's going to allow Rick Yan to get the slipstream coming through the last part of the circuit, heading towards the bus stop chicane. And as they're coming through, Yan, look at the slipstream. He's got 326 kilometers an hour, but it's very difficult to overtake into the bus stop chicane, and he can't make a stick as the rest of the cars filter through for the first time. So already quite a dramatic first lap here at Spas. Byrne tries it on the inside of now Turden there, the top position, and can't quite make it stick. As we look at the rest of the cars coming through, but Gal already under pressure from Nella heading into the hairpin, and he's surely going to make a move onto the back straight. As they come through Eau Rouge, he's just in the perfect position here to make it. He's just got this all figured out as he comes through in the slipstream of the Red Bull, and then coming on to the back straight, and he's surely going to make the stick on the inside. Gal, unfortunately, with the heavy fuel, is going to struggle. Now on the inside, 300 and... can he make it to 20? No, I think 319 kilometers an hour on the inside, and boom, makes the move stick. Pretty easy there. As we look through the rest of the order, and actually Hutter's got past Tomaselli for 10th, I've noticed as well. So that is another move that we haven't seen on the camera. As we look at our car in 7th position now, behind the Williams of Renault car. Didn't make a particularly good start, dropped down 2 positions. Joel Hutter's made a great start, moved up 4 positions as we're looking at Byrne finally now trying to pass his teammate now turning again. He's on the inside. Has he got it done this time? Yes, he has. So he moves up into 12th position, and now he's under pressure from Julius Anderson behind. Now here is Amar Kar. Is he going to be close enough to get past Renault on the back straight? I don't believe he is. Mocha's not close enough either. Now Byrne is on the back of Tomaselli for 11th position. Unfortunately, he just doesn't seem to have the pace in this race. And Byrne is on the inside. Has he got enough? As now Tiranen forcing Anderson out behind him. I think as Anderson got through on the inside, yes, and they just about avoid contact. That's very close there, but they get away with it. Now Tiranen under pressure from the McLaren behind. As we look at Byrne once again trying past Tomaselli there. It's never going to work. So he's going to have to wait quite a few corners until he can actually make a move. Whereas at the moment, still keeping a fairly safe lead over Mackenzie behind him. Although Mackenzie, I don't know, he's getting a bit close. Nella is in the background then, so he's not really closing on either of the two. But Willis just can't afford to make a mistake. Of course, he should have won in Hungary if it weren't for the collision with Mackenzie. As Carl, Mocho and Moichin are battling here in the lower reaches of the top 10. Mocho got a bad run off the corner. That might allow Lopez to get on the inside here. Will Lopez make a move on the inside? And the answer is, I think he's going to go for it. Has he got enough? No, he hasn't. And now Joel Hutchins there, as we have another yellow flag out. And there's a major crash at the bus stop chicane. That's Anderson and Byrne, and they're both out. So what on earth has happened there? So it is a crash. So that's a really weird position. Of course, they caught the end of the tyre wall there. But what on earth has happened to those two? And oh my word! Oh dear! And well, the crane has broken there, or it's come off the crane, and it has, well, it fell off there, but fortunately the cameras got rid of the car, so you wouldn't have to see the destruction of it anymore. But what happened there? So Anderson went, look at that, goes around the outside of Byrne, does he? That's an unbelievable move. I've never seen anyone make it there. So he went around the outside. He tried to make it past Tomaselli. Then coming into the chicane, Byrne moves back on the inside, and oh, they just accidentally made contact. Did Glazebrook make any contact behind? And the answer is no, they didn't. So just a very unfortunate collision between the two, but that was an unbelievable move by Julius Anderson around the outside, and Byrne was like, I'm not having any of that, you're not mugging me off like that. And unfortunately, well, he has mugged himself off, but that was incredibly close. Byrne tried it back down the inside, and then, I mean, it was on, Anderson gave him room, but unfortunately it is quite tight in that chicane, so that was bound to happen. So, and right there was where the first collision was, and then the second one right there, which unfortunately has eliminated them both out of the race. So that was probably one of the best moves I've seen this season from Anderson coming through Blanchimont. You rarely see anyone making a move through there, so fair play to him. That was a fantastic move. And Roland Moitjen is off, and he spins right in front of 4 cars, and he's lost 6th position there. Not good for the Hungarian driver, and he just made a mistake on his own under pressure from Carr, Mocho, Lopez and Hutter all behind him there. A mistake completely of his own making. And you can see here just gets way out of shape and then goes around. So Carr says thank you very much and takes 6th position, but he's under pressure from Mocho, although Mocho is pitting this lap as a matter of fact, and now Tiernan has also pitted the same lap as well. And so although Mocho is getting close to Carr, I wonder if he might make a late move. Carr's moving to the inside. Will Mocho swap to the inside? Nope, just ran out of straight there. So Mocho so far having a good start. I would imagine most drivers are going to do the 2-stop here, because obviously it is a short, well, if there's only 44 laps, I was about to say it's a short circuit, and that's certainly not the case. It's a short race because it's a long circuit, so the least amount of laps, only 44. But I think the 2-stop is probably the way to go, as long as you can manage your tyres. But Mocho all over the back of Carr, as he always got out of shape there, Carr. You can see him wiggling the car about there. That was very sketchy indeed. And he's very lucky that he didn't go off the track there, but he's really struggling on his tyres. He's pitting actually in a few laps time as well, so he's on a similar fuel load to what Carr is, but just seemingly struggling with, well, just with the tyres. Gets out of shape there. He's lucky not to go off. But now Mocho, Carr, Lopez and Hutter once again battling, but Mocho will be getting out of this battle once he pits. Moitjen in the background will look to close up. Mocho clearly the faster car, but obviously he's on lighter fuel. He's not going to make it through there. Lopez is not going to go around the outside, but Mocho all over the back of Carr. He's not going to bother making a move into the chicane. Although, is he? Because, oh, that's very close. Lopez is going to go for it. And he goes on the inside and makes a great move there on Mocho, who just swipes in front of Hutter, but fortunately no collision done. But that was a great move there by Lopez. Timed that absolutely perfectly and made it through, and now he's already onto the back of Carr. So fair play to the Argentine as we look at Mocho in the pits for his first stop of the race. So he comes in. I would imagine this would be a 3. I don't think they'll put him on much fuel, but let's find out. And so let's see. Nope, that's not a lot of fuel, so I think this could be the 3 stop. It's going to be interesting. It really could be interesting to see what a lot of the teams decide to do. But Mocho comes out of the pits, and he comes out behind Tomaselli, so he'll come out in 13th position. Possibly 14th, because Jones just come across the line, but no, I think he'll come out ahead of Jones. So crucially for Mocho, he will come out in clear air. At the moment, Willis is lead over Mackenzie's about 1.6 seconds. That's about what it has been since Mackenzie got into 2nd position. As we look at Carr once again, really all over the place, as Joel Hutter actually is going to be pitting this lap. So they're both, I guess, going to try the undercut on the undercut over Lopez and Carr, who are both, well, Carr is struggling, Lopez isn't. But we're looking at Jay Mackenzie himself, who's going to try the undercut on Joseph Willows. He's pitting this lap, so he's going quite early as well. So this is going to be very interesting indeed. Mackenzie comes in to the pits and will change all 4 tyres. And I think this could be the 3 stop. I think this will be the 3. So he comes in, seemingly a long pit entrance, and he comes in and will change all 4 tyres. So in he comes, put more fuel in, and yep, I think it's going to be tight. It really is going to be tight, but I think fresh tyres around this circuit, the longest on the calendar, is probably, I guess, the way to go than just trying a 1 stop or a 2. But I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Only they know. So out Mackenzie comes onto the circuit. He's behind Nella. He'll come out in, is it P3? No, he comes up behind Miguel Gal. I think he would have preferred if he came out ahead of him. But anyways, Lopez still hasn't made it past Amar Kar as Joel Hutter has just come into the pits. Mocho now already onto the back of Tomaselli, so proving how quick the fresher tyres are. He's not going to overtake Tomaselli into the bus stop chicane, so he's going to do it either at the hairpin or at the first chicane. So Mocho's got a much better exit off the corner, but he's going to then probably swap to the inside, will he? I'm not sure if he's going to do it quite late, but the answer is no, he's not. So he sticks behind him in 12th position now. So as Hutter has come out behind him, crucially, so that's important. But obviously, if the good thing for Hutter is he's on fresher tyres, and Mocho's being held up badly here. Oh, that's so close to a terrible crash. Fortunately, they got away with it. Now Mocho's got to get it done right here, right now, like the Fatboy Slim song. And he's on the inside, and surely Mocho's got it done. And he makes it up into 11th position. That's important for him. That means he stays ahead of Joel Hutter, keeps the gap away from him, as Hutter has just come out of the pits. So Gal already under pressure from the Mercedes behind him of Mackenzie. And so as we look at Nella, actually, who's coming into the pits this lap as well. So he'll come out obviously behind Mackenzie, but Mackenzie needs to get past Gal ASAP, because otherwise that will allow Willows to, well, keep the lead after when he makes his stop. So Nella, will he go on a 2-stop or a 3? I'm not sure, but it's tough really. It's gonna. I really can't wait till the end to see what is going to happen. But Nella now comes out of the pits, and he comes up. He'll come up behind Mackenzie and Gal. Mackenzie on the inside. Is he? Is he going to go for it? And the answer is yes, he is, and that's important for Mackenzie. He moves up ahead of Gal up into P2, and there's Nella just coming out of the pits now, so he'll catch Gal about the same time. But Gal's got a lot of fuel on his car, so he's not really racing either of the two Mercedes, so, or Willows to be exact, either. Michael Mocho in 10th there, Oliver Glazebrook right now running in 9th position. Here is Nella already onto the back of Gal, like I suspected. So Nella in the split stream of Miguel Gal, and moving on the inside, and surely it's going to be like taking candy from a baby, this move. And yep, that's just exactly how it was. So he moves up into 3rd position, and it's as you were. But of course Willows actually now is coming into the pits on this lap, so this will be interesting to see. I wonder if well, it looks like Mercedes could be doing either 2 or 3. Well, it's going to be at least 2, possibly a 3, but I wonder if Willows will try a different strategy or not. But I'm not sure. There's Mocho and oh, Mocho's got an issue. That's an electrical problem, and that's very unfortunate for him, because he was running in a good position. So he's got a long way to go if he wants to get back to the pits. He's got, well, pretty much 3/4 of the circuit really to get back, but that is going to severely affect what was looking like a very promising race for Mocho. As he's looking at him coming through very slowly, there is the car of behind, going past him there. As we look at Willows now coming into the pits, and let's see if he comes at ahead of Mackenzie. Changes all 4 tyres, and here we go. And Evan Byrne has received a 5-place grid penalty for causing the incident with Julius Anderson. That's, I don't know. I personally don't think that penalty is deserved, really. I think that's quite harsh, personally, for me. But Mackenzie has actually come out ahead of Willows, so that stop by Mercedes has worked. So Mackenzie now takes the lead from Joseph Willows, so that's going to be very interesting indeed. And I mean, for Mackenzie, this is also important for him, as there have been doubts of him retaining his seat for next season, but Mercedes have pulled a masterstroke at the moment, that is, and have got Mackenzie out in front ahead of Willows, and Mocho's still going at half the speed of everyone else with electrical failure, and it looks like he might actually make it to the pits. Well, I shouldn't say that now. He's right there. Can he make it? He's right there, and he's going to make it. Unbelievable. So Mocho, despite going around the circuit with an electrical problem for pretty much the whole lap almost with a problem, he's managed to get away with it. Here is a battle for 16th position with the 2 Germans and the British. Sontag is going to go around the outside of Roke, is he? Oh, that's very close, but no, he doesn't. So this is a battle between Zorbak, Roke and Sontag. Zorbak just wants to get to the end. He'd rather not be in a battle, he'd rather just be on his own at the moment in time, just because he doesn't want to be involved in any battles at all, otherwise who knows what could happen to him. But Roke all over the back of him like a cheap suit, and so is Sontag as well. Roke all over the back. Zorbak defends to the inside, and as we come through the source, Roke obviously can't make a stick through there, so you have to wait, go through a rouge onto the back straight. Sontag didn't get a good exit out the corner either, as we look through the rest of the order, and oh well, my car is out. He is out, and his engine has gone. Smoke is pouring out of the back of it, and so he pulls off to the side, and there we go, his race is over. His car is done for. As the wheel, it's just about off the racing line, so I don't think it's going to impact any of the drivers, fortunately. So there we go, as now his car gets pushed away, so that's his race over. Water leak problem for Carl, although he was severely struggling pretty much throughout the whole race, so in a way I guess he's probably quite glad it's over, as yet the problem occurred just coming past the support pits, and oh, there goes the engine, and the Haas behind of Hutter gets a lovely bit of smoke all over him there. So there we go, but Carr unfortunately retiring from this race, and it's not going to do good for his title hopes. So that's his race over. At the moment, the gap, oh, actually, it's only half a second between Mackenzie and Willers, so we could still have a race on here between Mackenzie and Willers. It's Hungary Part 2 that is happening. So let's hope that what happened in Hungary, though, the ending of it, well, let's hope they have a better ending, let's say. As we look at his car retiring from the race. Smoke pouring out, and his race is over. So there we go. So now back to the action. This is the battle for the lead, and I bet Nella would hope that Mackenzie does him a favour and helps him close up. But Willow's clearly the quicker car from the stop. He's on the inside. Has he got enough grunt in the Ferrari to make it on the inside? The answer is no, he hasn't, so he has to stay behind. But Willow's clearly looking the quicker car after the stop, and he's all over the back of Mackenzie, and Mackenzie goes to the right, already defending. Willow's all over him, really pushing him, almost pushing him around the circuit. He's that close, but he can't quite make it stick there, so you have to wait until, unless he can do a move around the outside of Blanchimont, he'll have to wait until the bus stop, although Willers might try and make a move here. Surely he's not going to make it stick there. The answer is no, he doesn't. So that's this is good news for Nella behind, so that means that it can help him possibly close up. What's the gap to Nella? It is 3.9 seconds, so this is good for Nella because it can allow him to close up. Willers all over Mackenzie, defending all over the track. Clearly Willers is the quicker car. Needs to stop getting the bad runs through the corner there, Mackenzie, otherwise Willers will just keep in his slipstream. And as we're going fast forwarding a little bit, and Mackenzie still holding from Nella, well, still holding from Willers, sorry, but I don't know how close Nella is or not. I don't know the gap, but he can't make a stick here. Willers, he's going to try and do the dummy, go to the right into the chicane. The answer is yes, and oh yes, he does. He makes contact with Mackenzie, but still not enough. The old hit and run has not worked, so he's going to have to, well, the NASCAR type move still hasn't worked, so he's going to have to try something bigger than that to make it through there. But so Willers still can't make it through past Mackenzie. Nella is there in the background. He's closed up a little bit, not as much as I thought he would, but he's lying in wait like a shark, like a snake, or whatever, just like any animal, just that's hiding, waiting to get its prey. As we've gone to yell, oh my word! And Zorbak just rejoined and almost tipped Roke over there. So this battle's still resuming. So what happened here? So Sontag tried it on Zorbak. They make a bit of contact, and oh my word! And then look at that. So Sontag makes contact with Zorbak. The two Germans make contact. Sontag spins, and somehow Roke just sneaks through there. And then Zorbak, coming back onto the circuit, then goes right into the side of Roke, and he actually tips him on two wheels there. And somehow Roke gets away with it, gets no damage, but that battle's been resuming all race. But that's unfortunately the battle at the back between the three, well, I suppose you could say, worst people right now. But as we look at the Force India of, I believe this is Franco Lopez all over the back of Hutter. Hutter goes a little bit wide there, doesn't get a good run through, and he can't make it stick. So as well as once again almost making contact with the back of Jay Mackenzie, still can't make it through. He's really trying. He's going to try the old move again, And he's going to try it. Oh, no, never mind. He's not going to try it because he's made it through. He's actually made it cleanly through. And so Willers crucially does take the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix, and that's crucial because Nella, you can see, look at now, Nella has closed right up there. You can see him in the background, but Mackenzie, I imagine, is going to try and make a move straight back, I think, on Willers. But I thought it looked like Willers was going to try the same thing again, but he thought better of it and just went to the inside there, caught Mackenzie napping and just saw the gap, went for it, and there we go, makes it through. So, oh, they were so close to contact there. I really thought they were going to make contact, but fortunately they didn't. As here we are looking at Franco Lopez on the back of Joel Hutter in the Haas, and will he make a move on the inside here? The answer is yes, he does, just about. There's been so many could be collisions. I mean, there's so many times that there has been where there could have been major crashes, but they've fortunately gotten away with it. Look, Rick Yan is now in the pits for Force India, and look at him coming in. I don't imagine he'll go to the end here, so the answer is no, he doesn't, so he will not be going to the end, so he'll be making one more stop before the end. I think Jan's made a stop already, I think. I'm not sure, actually. I'm really not sure, but oh, Jan has had to wait there for the Williams of Moitian to come into the pits, so he changes all 4 tyres. And there we go, so not what Rick Jan wanted. Mackenzie, as you can see, is still sticking behind Willers at this moment in time, despite him overtaking him. So that battle is definitely not over yet. So here we are looking at Franco Lopez on the back of Holger Glazebrook, who must be having a heart attack right now. He's never been as high as 5th, and so he'll want to keep it, but he's not going to keep it for long. He must wish that the race would be halved and it would finish right now, but unfortunately for Glazebrook, it's not going to happen as Lopez is on the inside. And does he make it stick? No, he doesn't, but as I said, Glazebrook can't believe will be as high as this, although the gap actually is now extended to it was half a second, so Mackenzie must have made a mistake somewhere, or either Willers has had a super duper lap. I'm not sure, but Glazebrook, I think, still been going. I'm pretty sure Glazebrook has not actually pitted yet, so I think he could be doing the one stop here as Lopez squeezing on the inside. Is he gonna make it stick? That's so close. And no, he can't make a stick, and crucially for Lopez, he's got Joel Hutter closing him down in the background, so he's got to get through him quickly. And as we look at Nicholas Zorbach now into the pits, and so that battle between him and Sontag has at the moment ended. As we look at the Force India of Lopez all over the back of Glazebrook, and Hutter is closing rapidly as well in the background. Lopez not going to make it through there. He's got to slow down, but he'll stick in the slipstream. And is he going to try and make a move into the Buster chicane? He's on the left. Is he going to swap to the right? Which he does. And yes, no. And Glazebrook is going in, so it doesn't matter now. But unfortunately for Lopez, he's now got Hutter right behind him, and Jan is not that far away either in the background, so we could have a good battle there. But finally, Oliver Glazebrook does come in. I'm pretty sure this is his first stop. But Mackenzie, the gap has gone to 1.4, which is about what it was before the first stop, as Willers goes around the outside and laps Sontag there. So at the moment, Willers just seem to have the edge over Mackenzie. So it looks like, strategy-wise, it's the only way that Mackenzie, or Nella, let's not count him out of the race yet, is the only way that they could win this race, as Roke now being lapped by Willers. But now that's going to allow Sontag to close up to the back of him now, as Zorbach makes a mistake. And he controls it. I thought he was going to go around there, but he's managed to control it. We've seen a few cars go off there before, but he managed to control it pretty well there, Zorbach. But he is struggling quite a bit this race. He's been involved in a lot of incidents so far, and just needs to keep it on the road. It's not been good for Zorbach so far, let's say. But at the moment he's still running. He's gone 24 laps and he's still running. So here is Jan, who's closing up to the back of Joel Hutter in front of him. So Willers at the moment still leading. Gap is now going up to over 2 seconds. Roberto Gamba, I just saw, was in the pits for McLaren. So Willers is going to be pitting in a few laps' time. So it's going to be interesting now to see what drivers as Glazebrook. Oh, that was sketchy. There goes. It gets a little bit out of shape coming through a Rouge there. And he's got to be careful because there's that curb that's just on the edge of the corner there. And if you go over that, then that could easily damage your car. And Glazebrook does very well because there's a little slide there, managed to control it. Now here is Jan on the back of Joel Hutter, And is he going to make a move coming into the La Source hairpin? He's all over him, and is he through? It's very close, but Jan squeezes through, and he does make it past Hutter for 6th position. And despite the fact I know what helmets are which, I still got the names confused. But anyway, finessing my inner David Croft there. Here's Roke now behind, I believe that is Zorbach, and it's going to be Deja Vu. Those two have been battling throughout the whole race, and it's set to continue. So Glazebrook right now running in the points, and that's exactly what he needs. He needs a race finish in the points if he wants to have a good chance of keeping his seat for next season, because it has been put in doubt, because he's been outperformed comfortably by his teammate Roberto Gamba so far this season, and so far this race he's had a better race than what Roberto Gamba has had, so he just needs to keep it clean and just get to the end, really. So here we are looking at Tomaselli on the back of the manor of Etienne Jones as they come through heading towards Blanchimont. So the gap to Mackenzie about 2.2, so before I thought it was about 2.4, so it's Mackenzie's coming back at him a little bit. Nella's just once again just hanging in the background waiting for something to happen. So as we look through the rest of the order, so at the moment Glazebrook's still in 10th, we've got now Turin 11th, Roberto Gamba, Jones, Tomaselli, Zorbach, who's been lapped. As we look at Tomaselli all over the back of Jones, and is he going to make a move into the La Source hairpin? He swaps to the left. Is he going to go to the right? The answer is no, he doesn't. Particularly with these wider cars, it can be a little more difficult to make moves into some of these corners where before the cars weren't as wide and as big. But as we look at Tomaselli, who is all over the back of Jones as they're coming through El Rouge, and he's gone a little bit wider. Oh, there goes the wing, and well, that ends that battle. And Tomaselli loses his front wing, and oh, hold on, that, oh, wait a second, and where's the wing? Oh my word, and just imagine, oh, it's so close to the racing line. Just imagine if that was just slightly more, about 2 meters more to the left, then that would have been right on the racing line, and Willows would have hit that. But Tomaselli, as making the same mistake that Glazebrook did, however with worse circumstances, and so he loses his front wing, and so unfortunately that ends, I think, any chance that Tomaselli has of getting any points from this race. So Jones can breathe a sigh of relief, and oh, that was so close. Just imagine, as I said, if that wing was just 2 meters closer to the left, well, from Willis' point of view, yeah, to the left, because that would have been right on the racing line, literally right on it. And here we're looking at the manner of Zorbach, who has done the exact same thing. Oh my goodness me. It seems like Zorbach, it seems like the Germans to Roke are an absolute magnet. You always need to get involved in a collision with a German at some point. And Zorbach almost rejoining into the path of Roke again. But unfortunately for Zorbach, it's been a pretty poor race from him, to be honest. I mean, so the first lap was not his fault, you can understand, but he's made a couple of mistakes. He's struggled, Zorbach, so I don't think, even if he finishes, he'll be happy if he finishes, but it's not been a good race from his point of view anyway. But Mackenzie is now coming into the pits. The question is he going to go to the end or not? Because, well, let's just find out, really. He has closed the gap, actually, on Willers a little bit, actually. It's down to less than 2 seconds, so he has come back at him, has Mackenzie. So let's see, as he comes into the pits, will he go to the end or not, is the big question, the £1 million question. Into the pits he comes, and what is it? Is he going to go to the end? The answer is no. That's not enough. They're not going to go into. They're not going to put him to the end. That is very, very interesting, and I'm not sure if that's the right call. I would have thought if they wanted to have beaten Willows, they would have just gone to the end, but apparently not. So, that is very interesting indeed. But Mackenzie will come up behind Miklas Gal, so although a bigger gap than before, so Mackenzie has probably a couple of laps or so that he can preserve his tyres, and then of course he will close up to the back of Gal, although he already is less than a second behind, so maybe shorter than that. Here's Hutter on the inside of Glazebrook. Does he make a stick? The answer is no. Glazebrook goes a little bit wide, holds the position, I think, just about from Hutter there, and the answer is he does. And as they come through the middle of the second sector, Hutter not going to make a move here. So as they come through the right-hander heading towards the end of one of the best circuits in the world, so So there's Mackenzie, as Nella actually is coming into the pits this lap as well. So I'll be interested to see. I reckon Nella will probably go to the end. Well, I would think he would. Roke and Sontag once again battling. These two have been battling. Him, Sontag, and Zorbak have been battling all race. And Zorbak, oh no. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. 6 races, 6 retirements. I mean, I guess that race has kind of summed it up, really. I mean, he's not really done very well. And unfortunately, the car's now failed on him just to compound his misery. So, 6 races and 6 retirements. I mean, you really got to feel sorry for him. There's no other way of saying it. You really do have to feel sorry for him in that respect. The record for retirements in the OC, I believe, I think is 7. So at the moment it's 6. So 7 is the record. So the question is, will he match it or not? But I hope he doesn't. But I mean, it's not a proud record to have, particularly in Zorbak's case. He wants to keep the Manor seat for next season, but you can see, unfortunately, the car breaking down on him there, so that's his race over. Now here is Mackenzie on the back of Nicolas Gau in the Red Bull, and so let's see if he can make the move coming into the source hairpin. He's all over the back of Gau. He's probably going to get a better run off the corner. Now in the slipstream of the Red Bull, he's going to make a move on the inside. I think he's done it already. He's going to go for it again, and Mackenzie does it again. So Gau doesn't really bother making much of a defence because they're on different strategies, and actually Gau is pitting this lap. I'm pretty sure Gau has been on the one-stop this race, I think. So Nella pits and doesn't go to the end. I'm surprised. I really thought Nella would go to the end of this race, but he hasn't apparently. So, I'm personally not. I don't think that's the right strategy. I think they should have put Nella to the end. If anything, Willis is pitting this lap. So now this, now this is. It's going to be interesting because what is going to happen now is if Willows comes out behind Mackenzie or not. Because if he does come up behind Mackenzie, he'll close up to him because he'll be on fresher tyres, but he'll know Mackenzie is pitting once more. So I suppose, would he bother actually trying to attack Mackenzie? So there's just going to be a lot of thoughts going through some of these drivers' heads at this moment in time. So we're looking at Willows, who is coming through, about to come through Blanchimont for the 30th time, over halfway through this race. Only 14 laps to go. But there's Mackenzie, so I think Mackenzie will probably come out ahead of Willows, but I'd be interested to see if he comes out ahead of Nella or not. As we look at him coming through into the bus stop chicane, and into the pits he must go, and you know the rest. As Willows comes into the pits, and there we are. So I think he'll probably come up behind Mackenzie again, because we know what Mercedes have been like in the first stop, as the Red Bull mechanics are getting ready for Nicolas Gau to come in. There's another team getting ready for their driver to come in as well. Willows is going to go to the end, which is obvious. I would have been surprised. I mean, they would have been really stupid if they didn't, Ferrari. So, pretty quick stop from them. That was pretty good, I have to say. So the question is, Willows, yep, he comes out behind Mackenzie, and the gap actually is going to be quite large. And will Nella come out ahead of him? If Nella comes out ahead of him, that could give a big advantage to Mackenzie, and the answer is unfortunately not. I think Willows has come out ahead of Nella, and that is important. I think Mercedes would have rather Nella come out ahead of Willows, Willows to come out behind Nella, because that would have meant that Nella could be, I suppose, the guinea pig. Although technically Nella would rather Mackenzie be the guinea pig, because Mackenzie's not really in the title fight. Nella is, I guess you could say. But anyway, we'll see how that comes about later on in a few laps' time when they make their stops. So Lopez now in for the final time, and so changes all 4 tyres. He'll obviously go to the end. It would be stupid if he decides not to, and changes all 4 tyres, and yep, goes to the end, obviously. There we go. So changes all 4, goes to the end, so it makes a lot of sense. So out of the pits he comes. I don't know if there's another joke for coming out of the pits. I know there's one for coming in. I don't know if there's one coming out, but anyway, he comes up behind Joel Hutter, and I don't know if Hutter has to pit again or not. I'm not sure. Mocho is in for his final stop, and the McLaren behind him of Roberto Gamba is in as well. So as we look at Mottro coming out, Roberto Gamba coming into the pits as well. We'll be changing all 4 tyres. We're looking at Willows at the moment in second. What's the gap? 3.5 seconds. Kenti's not coming in for at least another 2 or 3 laps. So I don't know. I think Mackenzie needs to really push on those tyres before he pits for the last time, as we have a car out, and that is now Tiranen, who is out of the race. So that's his race over, and there's the... Oh, I've just realised the wheel almost right in the racing line, as Will Nella has just set the fastest lap of the race, interestingly enough, a 1:43.779. So that's not good. That's not good looking for Mackenzie if Nella can set the fastest lap, but he can't. So that's gonna... I suppose that is probably because Nella's on lighter fuel, but that's still not good for him. So if only the roles reversed, if Nella was the one in first and Mackenzie was third, then Nella would probably be looking pretty good right now. But that's interesting, that is, that Nella has set the fastest lap there. But anyway, we're looking at now Tiranen, who unfortunately could have had a much better season than it has looked. And there you can clearly see what wheel has broken there. Clearly the right one, obviously, hence why he went into the wall to get rid of it, clearly. So that's his race over. Just 12 laps to go of this race, and his car getting pushed away into the abyss. So the gap, I said 3.5 seconds, but I imagine that's probably going to come down in the next, in the next lap. I can't wait to see what the gap's going to be. Although Nella has closed to Mackenzie as well, so Nella, if anything, is looking pretty quick at this moment in time. Roland Moitian is in the pits for his final stop of the race, and Mackenzie, unfortunately, has got this McLaren in front of him. There's Willows in the background, so Mackenzie needs to clear this McLaren ASAP, because what's the gap? It's down to 3.2, so Mackenzie needs to get rid of this McLaren ASAP, otherwise this will give Willows a chance to close back on him. So Mackenzie does go around the outside there of Roberto Gamba and gets through. And Roberto Gamba actually has a problem as well, so Roberto Gamba has a problem, so that is probably going to eliminate any chance that he has of getting any points from this race, although he's just missed the pits for some reason, so I don't know why that is, as he comes across the line. And oh well, there we go, that's the reason. And Willows gets smoke all in his face. That's exactly what he wants, all over his visor. So he finally passes Roberto Gamba there, and there's Will Nella in the background, and Roberto Gamba is going to be spraying that all in front of Nella coming through El Rouge, and Nella's going to be held up a bit here. If he can't get through, it is just right, unfortunately, on the racing line there, so Nella's going to be held up, as it looks like he's got the pace to Willows in front of him. But Roberto Gamba, he is out of this race, and you can see the car is now slowing down, coming onto the back straight. So his race is over, done and dusted on lap 33. So he pulls off to the side, what he will, and now he does, and that's him over. So his race done. So how many cars? I don't think we've got that many cars that have so far survived. I think we've got about 14 cars, I think, that are still running, and I think I saw another car smoking. Yep, and it's George Roque now that's smoking, and another car is retiring from this race. So it was an oil leak for Franco Gamba, and for Roque it looks like it could be a similar problem. So unfortunately for Roque, not a great race for him either. And there were 14 cars running. Now it's going to be 13 with Roque retiring, but for Roque obviously hitting Florian Volker on the first corner, not very good, and he was lucky he actually stayed in that race after the collision with Zorbach at the bus stop chicane, where he got launched into the air. Fortunately, no damage was done, but his race is also over on lap 33. So just 11 laps to go, and the cars are now struggling to finish this race, and Roque still going, but he's going to retire anytime soon, as he comes through the end of the second sector now, heading towards Blanchimont through the right-hander. But now I think his car has finally given up the ghost, as Lopez has got past Joel Hutter for 6th position as well. I just saw on the graphic below. So there we go, Roque pulling off to the side. His race is over on lap 34. Yellow flag is out, and that's obviously for Roque's car to be pushed away, but the marshal will obviously deal with that. Yellow flag's out, of course. At the moment you can see Willows, there's Mackenzie. The gap is now down to 2 seconds, so Mackenzie I think needs to pit now really, because he'll have more of a chance of getting Willows towards the end. But we will see And of course, don't forget both Mackenzie and Willers will be pitting. Sorry, not Willers. Mackenzie and Nella will be pitting before the end. But obviously, Nella is also closing quite a bit on Mackenzie as well. So Nella is the one that seemingly is the quicker car out of all these three. But he needs a little bit more pace if he wants to close up to the back of Willows. And I suppose maybe hold him up, and I suppose he be the guinea pig. Roles reversed, reverse psychology, I guess. But Rick Yan now comes out of the pits, changes all four tyres, going to the end, of course, and he comes out of the pits. So, and he's going to come out in, it looks like, 8th position behind the Williams of Roland Moitin. And Glazebrook is out, and oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That pretty much just sums up Glazebrook's season right there. It really does, and his car has broken down on him, and I don't know where he's pulled off there. That's coming towards, I think, the bus stop chicane, actually. But unfortunately for Glazebrook, that sums up his season. He was having a relatively good race as well, and his engine, unfortunately, typical Honda engine, he was running in a very comfortable 9th position, so he was going to get some points, and unfortunately his engine just decides, yep, let's not do that. Let's just screw you over like well, like you have done to yourself all season. So that's 3 mechanical retirements in like 3 laps, well, 2 laps if anything. But oh my word. So Oliver Glazebrook's race is over on lap 34 of this race. So there we go. His race is over. No points for him, and I suppose that, well, that doesn't do much for his driver prospects for next season. Although, I mean, it's not his fault really. He's done a pretty good race for by Glazebrook by his standards. Kept himself out of trouble. The strategy for him worked relatively well, but unfortunately his car didn't see it the same way. So we've now only got 12 cars left in this race, and Felix Sontag has just pitted for his last stop of the race, and I would imagine the Mercedes are going to be pitting soon. And yep, speak of the devil, Mackenzie is going to pit this lap. So I imagine Nella is going to pit the lap after. So Mackenzie, the gap was coming down, so it was inevitable that Mackenzie was going to have to pit. So the question is, how long have we got to go? 8 laps to go. Can he close the gap, or can he win this race from here? I'm not sure. He's going to be quite far behind Joseph Willows after he comes out of the stop. But, I mean, the only thing for him is he can absolutely go hammer and tong on those tyres. But I'm not convinced it's going to be enough. He's going to close up. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But I don't see how he's going to be able to get that gap in just 8 laps. And he's crucial that he's just come in front of Etienne Jones there, because otherwise, although Jones is trying to unlap himself here, Mackenzie won't be happy with that. Come through Eau Rouge. Oh, and Jones, that was very, very risky from him, and he makes a little mistake there. Gets a little out of shape, and Mackenzie will like, serves you right for trying to do something stupid like that. But you can see, look at Nella, he's closing the gap to Willis. It's only 1.1 seconds, so Nella clearly is the quicker car here, but of course, unfortunately, he's going to have to pit, and of course he'll come up behind Mackenzie. So I think Nella's probably going to be quite cheesed off, I think, with the way this race has gone. He's clearly got the quicker car, it seems, than both Willis and Mackenzie, but I mean, at this stage in the race, there's not much he can do about it, really. There really isn't much he can do. But Hutter is just coming into the pits for his final stop of the race on lap 36 out of 44. Changes all 4 tyres, and we'll go to the end. It's been a pretty good race by from Hutter's point of view as well. I mean, qualifying wise, he's been outperformed by Roke, but race wise, it's definitely Hutter that has the upper hand there, that's for sure, in his first season, as Willows is coming around the bus of chicane, and of course he has the lead of this race, and of course he doesn't have to pit, so it looks to be, unbelievably, a masterstroke by Ferrari in terms of strategy. I bet you never hear that before. But Woolniller has now come into the pits for his final stop of the race, and obviously he will come out behind Jay Mackenzie. But I'd be interested to see. I think Snella will have the freshest tyres out of all these 3. So I wonder if he'll be able to catch up to Mackenzie before the end for P2. That's what I'm going to be very interested to find out. Mackenzie now coming across the line, so he'll come out ahead of Nella, and there you go. He's now in P2. But it looks like Ferrari, as I said, have outdone Mercedes on strategy. So the gap I just saw before the line, it was 18 seconds from Willis to Mackenzie. I don't see Mackenzie getting 18 seconds in, what is it, 7 laps? Can't see it happening. It needs to be at least 2 seconds, and for Willis to make a mistake for that to happen. But at the moment in time, Miklas Gau is in 3rd position, so Nella is going to have to get past Miklas Gau for P3, which I don't think he would have been particularly happy to do, but Gal at the moment, he was on the 1 stop, was Miklas Gau, so for Gal that's worked out pretty well actually, although he's in P3, but it looks like it's going to be P4, Nella's now on the inside heading towards the chicane, and he's on the inside Nella, and he's going to make it through, and yep, there he is. Unfortunately, Gal didn't really have much defence, but he's going to have a very comfortable P4 because Lopez is so far behind. But a good move there into Les Combes from Nella up into P3. So now he can go after Mackenzie in P2. But as I said, Gal on the 1 stop actually has done a pretty decent job. He's going to have a very comfortable P4, and I think that is the best he's going to get out of this race. Here we are looking at a battle. This is with just 2 laps to go. On the penultimate lap of the race, here is Husse all over the back of Michael Mocho in the Toro, so this is the battle for 8th position, and Husse would definitely like to get 8th position. And he's all over the back of Mocho heading towards the final chicane, and there's contact, and Mocho has been hit and run. He's been hit, and Husse's done the run, and he's now up into 8th position, so Husse moves up into the top 8, and I don't think he'll be particularly happy with that, Mocho. But he moves up there, and looks like a battle brewing possibly for P6 between Rodomoitian and Rick Yan. But we're now looking at Joseph Willows coming through the bus stop chicane on to the final lap. And across the line he comes, the final lap of the race. And what's the gap? 6.4 seconds, and yep, it's clearly not going to be enough. And Mackenzie's going to come across the line, and it's pretty much exactly the same. So Mackenzie is not going to get Willows, so it's a masterstroke by Ferrari. I don't really know why Mercedes were going to try the 3-stop, to be honest, because I think on the 2-stop it could have been, well, it was a pretty good race anyway, but I think the crucial thing for Willows was when he got past Mackenzie after Mercedes had originally jumped them after the 1st stop. But it seemed Willows had the pace then, but obviously in the second half of the race it was in fact it was Nella who had the pace, because he was actually closing on Willows right towards the end of the stint. So I reckon if Nella didn't have to pit again, he could have easily battled Willows for the win here. But as I said, Ferrari came out on top here in terms of strategy, and I'm repeating that a number of times because Ferrari don't ever get it right, but they have today. And for Willows, it's set to be a great victory, and he will extend his lead in the Drivers' Championship. If his drivers behind, it's not particularly good, particularly not for Volker, not for Carr. For Mackenzie, it's good because it means he closes up the table because he's had a consistent run of results. But Willows, as he's coming through the end of the 2nd sector for the final time, heading towards, now into the 3rd sector, heading towards Blanchimont. Gap 6.4, Mackenzie, and it looks like he's just given up the ghost. There's just no point now because Willows has got the lead in the bag. And Willows, he was furious, and I imagine he was pretty angry that the win he should have had at Hungary last time out was taken away from him. But there's no such thing happening today as he's coming through the bus stop chicane for the final time, for the 44th and final time. He comes onto the front straight, and Joseph Willows wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Well done to Willows. That's a great performance from him. Mackenzie coming across the line in 2nd position. He'll be a bit unlucky that he didn't take another victory. Nella not too far away in 3rd position. Gal in 4th position. A good performance by him, I'd say, on the 1-stop. I don't think that was the right strategy, but he performed very well. He was not that far, actually, from the front 3 there, but fair play to Gal. He'll come across the line in 4th position. Good result for him. And Etienne Jones will take a point for Manor. It has been a while since he has scored a point for Manor, but he'll be very happy with that, having taken advantage of obviously the Saubers, their struggles in the race, and just generally avoiding trouble. So Etienne Jones, he'll be pretty happy with that. Across the line, P10, 1 point, and Sontag very close actually in 11th, but not the result that he would have wanted. Tomaselli about to come across the line in 12th position for Sauber. It comes around the Blanchimont for the final time, heading towards into the bus stop, and 12th position. Unfortunately not his race. I mean, had he not had that mechanical problem, it would have been completely different for him. Well, I say it wasn't a mechanical problem, it's his mistake actually, coming through a rouge. It could have been so much different. It could have been points, but no points for him today. Franco Lopez, a much needed result for him at 5th position. He really needed that. He's had a terrible run of results, and for him. 5th place is definitely well deserved. Rolamojin coming across the line in 6th. He'll hold off Rick Yan, who's been behind him for the last stint, for 6th, and Rick Yan across the line. And Joel Hutter will take 8th position. He'll be pretty happy with that as well. Mocho actually not that far behind either, so he'll be fuming at the way that Hutter passed him for 8th position. But Joseph Willis, your race winner. 1 hour and 80 minutes. That race was actually pretty quick in the dry. Let's take a look at the full race results. So Joseph Willis winning ahead of Jamie McKenzie in 2nd, Will Nella in 3rd, Miguel Scal 4th, Franco Lopez 5th, Roland Moichin, Rick Yan, Joel Hutter, Michael Mocho, and Nathan Jones completing the top 10. Will Nella setting the fastest lap of the race at 1:43.779. Felix Sontag in 11th position, a lap down. Jones also being a lap down as well. And of course the last finisher being Paolino Tomaselli in 12th position, with the all the rest of the drivers retiring. Oliver Glazebrook, George Roke, Gamba, now Tiranen, Gamba that is, Nicholas Zorbach again, Carr, Byrne, Anderson, Volker, and Gamba, or Volker, I think that's how you say it, with an F, Volker, I think, but I'll never be able to remember that next time around. Joseph Wood is extending his lead in the Drivers' Championship to 32 points, I believe. Omar Carr in 3rd, Florian Volker in 4th, Jamie McKenzie closing up to those two though in 5th position, Nicholas Gowan in 6th, way ahead of Rick Yan in 7th, Roland Moichin in 8th, Franco Lopez 9th, and Julius Anderson in 10th and 11th. Michael Mocho up to 12th, ahead of his teammate Franco Gamba, Roberto Gamba in 14th, Tiranen 15th, Joel Hutter moving up to 16th, ahead of Tomaselli and Roke, Jones 19th, Felix Sontag 20th, Glaze 21st, the Pascali in 22nd, and of course in last position with no points and no finishes is Nicholas Zorbach. So there we go. Now we'll take a look at the Constructors' Championship after Spa, and Ferrari leading ahead of Mercedes by, it's still pretty close there, about the same gap to Red Bull in 3rd as well. Force India 4th, Williams Mercedes that is, in 5th, Renault in 6th, Toro Rosso 7th, Haas moving above McLaren to 8th, Sauber in 10th, and Manor in 11th, so McLaren Sauber 10th, Manor 11th. So there we go, that was the Belgian Grand Prix, a pretty thrilling race I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to, as usual, vote for your driver of the day and give the race a rating out of 10. Thanks for watching everyone, and we'll see you for the next round, the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, the final round in Europe this season. Thanks for watching guys, and we'll see you there.